Rashida, and I want to tell my story of how God changed my life. It all started when I was just at the age of 8 years old, of my life being in shambles, because when I was told that I wasn't going to have any parents like when I get older, and normalizing that in my head, it just didn't feel as right. And what kid wants to hear, like, you're not going to have any parents when you get older? Like, who wants to hear that so young? I started to get into public schools. It started to introduce me to the fact that every kid did not have their parents, both of their parents, but they at least had their mother. So it kind of led me into depression. And by 8th grade, I can say I started getting the feeling of wanting to cut myself, just wanted to do so much. I started to try to overdose myself and just do it because of the fact is I don't even have my parents. So that made me feel so low, and it made me feel like, what's wrong with me? And when that happened, it started to get worse. I started to meet certain people in my life that started to influence me more to do more things and to also keep doing it. And it didn't help my habit. It did not. And it grew to a point where I almost died. I kept trying to do an overdose. I kept trying to. I was calling gun shops, and I'm asking them, like, hey, you all have like guns that's like small that you can, like, put in your pocket type of guns? And they were telling me like the type of guns that I may be describing. And I asked them the age, and they was like, oh, you can be 18, but you have to have someone's permission, I'm like, okay, cool. So that's exactly what I try to do. Like, I try to persuade someone that's maybe older than me to like take me, and so I can go and get a gun. But they stopped and they asked me, like, what for? Like, what you need a gun for? And I'm just lying. I'm like, oh, I just need a gun to just regular smuggler, like, just to protect myself, because I'm growing up and I'm gonna need protection. And they was like, you can get pepper spray. Like, you can get pepper spray. So when I found out that plan wasn't working, that's when I really started cutting myself, like, to a point where I only do like little slashes, just so I can show people, like, I'm not playing. And during this time, like, my best friend, she's seeing all of this. She's like sticking beside my side. Like, if anything, I wore this girl to death. Like, she was, every time I wouldn't respond for a long time, she's blowing me up. And I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry, it was just one of them phases again. And we have that thought in our head, like, everything gonna be okay. This may be going on, but everything gonna be okay. We're not gonna stop. We're gonna keep going. So that was the type of best friend that was on the side of me, and she still is to this day. And I thank her for that. I really do. Through the ups and downs, like, that's my best friend, y'all. And even all the things that I went through, like, people are made to think, like, in my house, like the house that I'm like in, and I've been living in ever since a childhood, people feel that, oh, I just know you get spoiled because you're like with your grandmother. And I'm like, just being respectful. But the whole time, this is where the downfall goes, y'all. The downfall. Next thing you know, as I got older and started to understand, my parents, gave me up to a narcissist, okay? A manipulating narcissist. And don't get me wrong, materialistic things, that's cool and all. You making sure I'm straight. I appreciate you for that. I love you for that. Thank you. Thank you for taking me in. I never doubted it in the day of my life. Thank you for that. But the trauma to just like, you knowing that you're building me up just to take me down again, that's a whole nother mental level. Like, that would really made me go into suicide even more. And to know that as I got older and it started to get worse, it's the fact that I'd admitted to her, like, hey, I be in my room for a reason. I'm dealing with this. I'm dealing with sexual immortality. Like, I'm dealing with so much. And don't get it twisted. Like, I was going through that, but it wasn't what you may be thinking, because your girl's still a virgin. Like, cool. I'm admitting all this, like, hey, did you know I could have took my life a long time ago? It's like, you're encouraging it. And she's telling me, oh, well, if you're crazy enough to, like, kill yourself, I mean, I'll put you in a burial insurance. I'll make sure they pick out something nice for you. And I'm like, why would you say that? So I'm literally like, like, are you serious? Like, okay, now I'm finna like go over the edge. Now I'm finna really just off myself. But then that's when something came over me. It took like a break that took me to break. It took him to break it just so I can heal and get my mind right and hear him more. And that's the thing, like, sometimes God had to hush things, and that's what he did. I had to endure it. And when I did, I found him. And when I shared like this note on my iPhone, I shared it with my best friend, because you know, like, notes, they can be viewed by other people if you share it. So I shared it, and I'm like, you know, this my New Year's revolution. And even though at the time, like, me and my best friend, we weren't talking, because if it was meant for us to be best friends, then this break should heal us. So when that happened, and she saw me like check off God, because the thing is, I wasn't finna put no check by God just be putting a check by God. No, when I put that check by God, that means that I was really with God. And at that time, that is when my best friend told me, like, hey, you made me seek God. And even though it was so hard for us, because you get so used to the worldly things, you don't see the greatness that God have on the other side. You only see your desires and what you choose to do. But God has way more. And I had to think that, hey, God is bigger than you being traumatized. He's bigger than that. He's bigger than all this. He bigger than you living in a narcissistic household. He bigger than that. He's bigger than that. And I had to tell myself that you bigger than what someone may say about you. You're bigger than that. It's okay. People gonna say these things regardless. It gonna be hurtful along the way. But you got this. This is why you gave your life over to God. And I want to be the person to tell you all today that, not just by telling my story to you all that's watching this, but just consider, when you give your life over to God, He's not a big control freak over what you do. He just want to better your life. It's going to get hard. It's going to be trials and tribulations, but you have to be willing to make that sacrifice and give it over to God. Now, that's that crazy faith. That's that crazy faith. And when you have crazy faith and believe that suicide can go away, that sexual immortality that you experiencing can go away. If you can believe in all these things, that's crazy faith, because you have crazy faith in the unseen. And that's a beautiful thing, you guys. That's a beautiful thing. And I didn't come here to just say my story. I came here just so it can encourage someone that's watching this video that you're bigger than that. You're bigger what you're going through right now. Just know, it's not going to be easy. But it's going to be like a stepping stone. And don't you forget that. Because I definitely won't. And once you get out that darkness, don't look back. And if you feel that God is calling you right now, follow him. You'll be surprised. God can show you things that you never seen before. God can get you out that situation that you feel that you can't get out of. And to mention, I went through all of this. I fought through so much, and I'm still fighting day by day. I can have a smile on my face every single moment, second of the day when I see a person. But just know that everyone have a story, and you do too. And you should share it like I'm sharing mine. And I hope it helps someone. I hope it do. Learn how to give it to God. Because he gonna make a way every time. Thank you all for viewing my video. And you all have a blessed one.